Were these children proof of time travel? A glimpse into a parallel world? Or something even stranger that history refuses to explain? Nearly 900 years ago, in the forgotten village of Woolpit, England, something impossible happened. Two children emerged near a deep pit once used to trap wolves. But they weren't lost villagers, they weren't orphans, and they weren't normal. Their skin was green, not pale, not tinted, but vividly green, like oxidized copper or leaves in the heart of summer. They spoke in a language no one could recognize. Their clothes shimmered with a strange texture, unfamiliar, foreign, almost metallic. They refused all food until someone offered raw, broad beans. Then they devoured them as if they hadn't eaten in days. The villagers were stunned. No nearby town had missing children. No one could understand a word they said, and no one could guess how they appeared seemingly out of nowhere, from the edge of a pit, as if they'd crawled up from the earth itself. One child would not survive, but the girl, she would live long enough to learn English. And when she finally spoke, everything changed. So here's the real question. If she was telling the truth, what does that make the world we live in? Weeks passed. The boy grew weaker and eventually died. But the girl slowly adapted to village life. Her green hue faded, not completely, but enough to make the others slightly more comfortable around her. And with time and care, she began to speak. Not fluently, but enough to answer a question that had haunted everyone since the moment they found her. Where had she come from? Her answer was as haunting as it was baffling. She claimed she and her brother came from a place called St. Martin's Land, a world where the sun never shone, only a dim twilight that blanketed everything in a greenish haze. Everyone there was green, she said. It was normal, expected. She described this place as being underground, or perhaps beneath something. She wasn't sure. The details slipped like sand through her fingers. She remembered tending to animals with her brother. Then a loud sound, a blinding moment, and suddenly they were standing in a field, disoriented and alone. She said they had followed the sound of bells, and then somehow found themselves here. Was this just a child's fantasy? A fractured dream from a traumatic experience? Or was she describing a real place? And if so, where is St. Martin's Land now? Centuries later, people are still trying to explain what happened in Woolpit. And the theories are as strange as the story itself. Some believe the children were survivors of a nearby mine collapse, their green skin caused by arsenic poisoning or malnutrition. But there's a problem with that theory. No mines existed near Woolpit at the time. And even if they had, how do you explain the language, the clothing, the origin story of a Twilight world called St. Martin's Land? Others think it was a misunderstood medical condition. Sclerosis, perhaps, a type of anemia that can cause the skin to appear greenish. But that wouldn't explain the boy's rapid death or the girl's vivid descriptions of a world where everyone was green. Then there are the darker theories. Some believe the children stepped through a rift, a tear between dimensions, that they crossed into our world by accident through a thin place where reality folds in on itself. A time slip, a glitch, a portal. Call it what you want, but stories of people vanishing and reappearing across centuries are not as rare as you might think. There's even speculation that the children came from the future, a timeline where Earth had changed or decayed, where light no longer reached the surface, and humans had evolved underground. If that sounds impossible, you should know this isn't the only time something like this has been reported. So now the question is, were the Green Children a one-off mystery, or a clue we've been ignoring for centuries? The tale of the Green Children should have faded into folklore, a strange village myth buried by time. But it didn't, because it kept happening. Not the exact same story, but echoes, whispers, across time, across continents. In 1674, in Spain, a young boy was found wandering the countryside. He spoke in a strange dialect, claimed to come from a kingdom of night, and described a sky without a sun. In 1850, deep in the Appalachians, a settler wrote in his journal about two children with olive-toned skin and starlit eyes who appeared near a cave and vanished the next morning without a trace. And as recently as the 1980s, a group of hikers in the Czech Republic reported hearing voices calling from beneath the earth in a language they couldn't recognize. The sounds echoed for hours, but no one was there. Each of these stories, too bizarre to be believed, too scattered to connect, but all of them share a chilling theme: a sudden appearance, greenish skin, strange languages, and the recurring mention of a world beneath our own, dimensions hidden, Twilight. Could they all be drawing from the same source? Could these be windows into something older than folklore? A truth buried so deep we've mistaken it for myth? Or are these just stories we tell to explain something our minds were never built to understand? So, were the Green Children of Woolpit travelers from another time, a parallel dimension, or just sick, lost kids caught in the wrong place at the wrong time? If we believe the girl's account, they didn't come from a nearby village or even from our surface world. They came from St. Martin's Land, a twilight world where green skin was normal and bells echoed in the distance. She didn't describe this place as magical or evil. She spoke of it like home. And here's the chilling part. Her story aligns with ancient beliefs about thin places, spots where the veil between worlds wears thin. Celtic myths warned of children slipping through cracks into the other world. Medieval Christians spoke of purgatorial realms, dim, sunless places between heaven and hell. Modern theories talk about dimensional overlays, or simulated layers of reality glitching against one another. What if St. Martin's Land wasn't a dream or a lie? What if it's real? A hidden layer of existence that only reveals itself when something breaks. And if that's true, then maybe the children didn't appear in Woolpit by accident. Maybe they were sent to warn us, to test us, or to see if we were ready. So here's the final question. What if there are more like them, watching from the shadows of another world, just waiting for the next thin place to open? If the Green Children were real, and their story wasn't just misunderstood folklore, then how many more stories like this have been ignored, buried under centuries of disbelief? And what happens the next time someone steps out of a place we've never mapped, speaking a language we've never heard, wearing the future or the past on their skin? Let us know what you believe. Were the Green Children travelers from another dimension, or just a myth warped by time and fear? If this story sent chills down your spine, and if you believe this world might be thinner at the edges than we think, then help us uncover what lies beyond the veil. Tap the like button to support the search. Subscribe to join the next descent into the unexplained, and drop your theory in the comments below. Were the Green Children time travelers, dimensional refugees, or something else entirely? We're watching the comments, and the next story, it might just be yours. And if you've ever heard a story like this, one that sent chills down your spine, we want to hear it. Because around here, the truth isn't just stranger than fiction. It hides in it. Dive deeper. Think darker. Go beyond the veil.